Casanova. It has been a very long time since we have filmed, and there are many reasons for that we are going to cover in today's video. So, earlier this year, we had to stop filming due to the fact that our jaw was in so much pain that we could barely open our mouth. And that incident has resulted in some massive changes in our health and in our capacity to do things. So our jaw, we woke up one day to our jaw being intensely painful. We didn't know what had caused it, although I had suspected that I had partially dislocated my jaw in my sleep, and there was a subsequent injury to the jaw as a result of that. This was around the same time when we wanted to upgrade all of our equipment for filming. And unfortunately, aside from the 3D face tracking that gives us a much better facial tracking, we haven't been able to acquire the other equipment that we have been wanting to use. Due to the fact that the money that we had set aside for these purchases then had to go into medical bills. So, our jaw was acting up. We went to an emergency GP, and he sent us to the dentist. The dentist confirmed that there was nothing wrong with our teeth. They did an x-ray and there was no sign of injury to the bones in our face. And so they sent us to see another specialist who is in a completely different city to the one that we live in. By God's grace and quite frankly a miracle, we were able to get in with him within days of our dentists confirming that they couldn't do anything for us. So we went and we saw him and had to take the day off work because we had to drive to another city that was many hours away. And he looked at the x-ray and he asked me whether I have ever been screened for any medical condition at all. He asked if I had chronic pain. I said yes. He said, have you been diagnosed with fibromyalgia? And I said yes. And he then asked, have you been screened for any connective tissue disorders, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, hypermobility spectrum, anything? And I said no, but I had been suspicious of the fact that maybe I did potentially have something, but none of my doctors have ever been willing to investigate. And he said that it was imperative that it did get investigated because the injury to our jaw that was preventing us from speaking was most likely caused by a connective tissues disorder, and that we had signs of arthritis in our jaw, that early stages of arthritis in our jaw, and that kind of thing for someone our age is an indication that there is something long-term chronic health going on. So he then wrote a referral back to the dentist and the GP. He also recommended a chronic pain medication that we were then prescribed. And the chronic pain medication took away most of our chronic pain that we experience on a day-to-day basis. It was really shocking that we would take the medication before going to bed, and when we got up the next morning, the pain was greatly, like massively reduced. So we went back to our GP, our regular GP rather than the emergency GP, and she wrote us a referral for a chronic pain management specialist and a rheumatologist, along with continued help from the dentist. And it took a good while, but we were rejected by the rheumatologist in our area. He felt that our case was not one that he could assist on, and so he declined our request to go see him. I then did my own research, and I called different rheumatology offices in Sydney, in the capital city, and managed to get in with them. We were expecting to go in on the 15th of October, but our appointment got moved up. The day we got notified that our appointment got moved up was the same day when we had partially dislocated our shoulder. We had been in at the hospital. Our arm was in a sling. We couldn't drive, and then we get the phone call saying, "Hey, can you come in?" And we were like, "Absolutely, yes, I'm coming in." And so instead of driving to Sydney like we had initially planned, I ended up catching a bus from our city to Sydney, and then got around Sydney via public transport, trains, that kind of stuff. We went into the rheumatologist's office, and the rheumatologist did some initial screening, and she said that she wasn't interested in pursuing genetic testing at this point in time, but that she was pretty sure she knew what we had, and she just wanted to confirm it before anything. So we got back to our city. We did the follow-up appointments that she wanted, including a bone scan and a heart ultrasound and some other tests. And the results for those tests came in, and we had a telehealth appointment with our rheumatologist. And it came to light that our heart is healthy. We don't have the connective tissues disorder that that impacts the heart, but we do have a connective tissues disorder, and it has resulted in there being arthritis in various parts of our body. And some of those additional flagged areas are going to be investigated further to see if we can find out what is happening to cause the arthritis in those areas. The other side of things from the rheumatologist is that we were diagnosed with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's a connective tissues disorder, but it's one of the ones that don't show up on genetic testing. It's not like classical EDS, it's a different type. And we are now doing research into that and learning what that entails. So this has been ongoing for months, is the process of getting in with medical professionals, getting in with various people, and one of the things that is happening is that we are now on the waiting list for a chronic pain specialist. I am debating just calling and having to pay for the chronic pain specialist treatment in a private clinic rather than waiting on the public health, which will then be covered by the government. But the good news is that we are on a medication that does actually help with our chronic pain. We've got another new medication to help treat our migraines, and we are slowly building things back bit by bit. And the stress of determining what is wrong with our body and why we're in pain and why we're suffering has been absolutely exhausting, and it's meant that filming got put to the side because we were low on energy. All of our mental energy went into working, and if we weren't working, then the mental energy was going into diagnosing us and medical appointments. We've also received new mental health diagnoses as well. And that was quite good, having the other mental health diagnosis diagnosed. We've suspected we've had it for years, and it turns out that we do, which is quite nice because it means that it's another piece in the puzzle as to what's going on in our life. So we may talk about that one in the future, but we're not ready to disclose that one on the internet just yet. But God has been working and doing things in the background whilst we've been absent from this channel. We are eager to be filming again. We will see how editing this video goes. But we do genuinely enjoy making videos, and we really miss it. We really miss making videos. There's some other side projects that we've been working on in the background. We've fiddled around with making a website, but we've decided that we won't go ahead and actually make it. We will stick to YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. And we are considering a creative outlet for some of the other hobbies that we have. So a place for watercolor art, for crochet, for bookbinding, for the other things that we genuinely enjoy doing but don't do because we need a reason to be doing our hobbies rather than just doing them because we like them. So that is also something we've been working on in the background. And the other thing we are working around is setting up both a digital journal and a physical printout document that can be printed out for system tracking. I know that we talked about it ages ago, and we are now in the process of seeing if we can make it official. And if it will be made official, then we will give you the link to where you can purchase it, and there will be other things there for you if you would like them. But we are making a slow re-entry into online spaces. We've set up Discord again, and we're in some really good servers that we really enjoy being part of. And the Plural Kit side of things, now that we've had a break from it, setting it back up has become a lot easier now that we're a little bit more understanding of how Plural Kit works and the language of the coding that the program uses. So if you want a Plural Kit tutorial, please let us know and we can do a video on that. The one thing we haven't worked out being able to do is how to connect Plural Kit and Simply Plural. It's not something we've been able to work out, and we've got our personal Simply Plural that we don't particularly want people having access to, and the row system tutorial one that we use on this channel doesn't have anything in it that is worth connecting to Discord over. So yeah, these are the things that have been happening. Sorry, it's been a very long week. We've had alters in and out of dormancy, making friends, and slowly making progress behind the scenes. So we thought we'd give you an update and wish you well and let you know that we are still here. We are still wanting to make videos, but our health took a really big hit and we had to investigate that and deal with that so that our quality of life doesn't deteriorate further. Anyway, much love. Please know you are loved by the incredible God of the universe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.